Hello. Here we fucking go again with the bullshit calls. And the game is basically lost because they forget to call a penalty that's directly in front of them. I don't think that's the entirety of the game. We're going to talk about a lot of other things, but it is quite frustrating to watch a 5-minute major get called. That was clearly a 5-minute major on Nick Waugh. Do not get me wrong. However, that's a cheap can opener. I named this thing Can Open. That's a cheap play by Victor Arvidsson. Golden Knights players who spoke, Mark Stone, Victor Olofsson agreed, and Bruce Cassidy was as clear as he can possibly be. There is not a single debate inside of the media room. Everyone agreed that that is a penalty. It's very simple to me. It has to be fixed. The league has messed this up for way too long. Games are decided, series are decided. Who knows who would have won the game? The Golden Knights would have got a power play. They potentially could have scored. It might be 2-2. They got to find a way to use video. Got to find a way to have a guy off the ice be able to make calls. That's not a hard one. One look at the video, and you know that that's wrong. That's enough. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Figured I'd open with that. We'll go from there. Shout out to my voice for being slightly better. If you think I sound terrible, that's probably because I've lost my voice. It's slightly better. Good enough for me to be on here pissed off, because I think it's fair for every single Golden Knights fan to walk away from this game pissed off, because your team, the team that everyone here wanted to win, did not win in a way that it's frustrating. Were they the better team? Yeah, I think so. I really do think they were. They did some of the things you absolutely have to do. I do think there are still red flags of not only this series, but if they were to find a way and win 4 out of 5 moving forward, to get back. But, man, the beginning of overtime was a barrage. The penalty kill in overtime was unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm already like, I might do it anyway. I don't know. But I was sitting here saying, like, oh my God, I'm going to do 72 minutes of video on this shit. It was incredible. The effort level, the commitment, the sticks, the goalie, all of it was so good on that penalty kill, getting the opportunities. And then just like, it's basically a nothing play. Puck goes around the outside. Perry makes a nice play to the middle, and the guy gets loose. Like, the guy's unbelievable. And trust me, like, I know everyone wants to sit there, and we do this to every single goal, and we get where, you want to pick apart every single goal. And can we leave the two guys alone who got beat on that goal? This is Connor McDavid moving full speed at a forward, Eichel, who is standing still. Good luck. He gets danced, not terribly surprising. And then Petrangelo's in a 2-on-1 when McDavid does the one thing you would never think he would do, which is basically come to a grinding halt. You're toast. You're absolutely toast. Goalie's toast. Everything. Like, sometimes elite world-class players make elite world-class plays. That's what happened. And the thing that's like the reason why this game is going to go down, and like, if this series is indeed lost, and I'm not there yet because there were signs in this game, but if we do walk away from this and it, say, does go to 6 or 7, and you look back, like, this is the game they had to have. This is the game you had to get. It was there. Carlson was excellent against McDavid and Draisaitl. Eichel and Stone did enough offensively that I thought that they probably deserved better. Penalty kills, fantastic. Power plays, excellent. They get the job done a couple of different times. I mean, it comes down to Vasily Podkolzin, Darnell Nurse from the ice. Like, I don't know how many times we could talk about it before the series, and I think it's going to be one that, like, if you listen to Cassidy, it's super clear. There's no real way around it. Vegas' goalie has to be better. Vegas' goalie has to be better than Edmonton's. He has to. Calvin Pickard cannot be the better goalie. It can't happen. Tonight, it happened. And it's like, that's the difference in the series. Like, I told everyone before this thing started, I don't know that Vegas's depth is as much better, if better at all, than Edmonton's. I do believe the power play and penalty kill are better. That's showing up. I do believe that they can be more responsible defensively. I'm not sure that's happened so far. But what I do know is that the goaltending difference has to be stark. It has to be there. And it wasn't, and it hasn't been. It wasn't today. He was good in the third period. He was good on the penalty kill. He was good most of overtime. But it's the two goals that take this game from Vegas in control to now chasing down 3-1, that now you're in deep shit. They got themselves back in the game. Way to go. Like, that's another thing. Like, there aren't that many chances that you're going to take the lead, give it up, be down by 2 twice, and then not win the game when you come back. You're not going to be able to come back over and over. And I know Edmonton has come back 6 straight games. I know. This is wrong. Enough. Either Aiden Hill is better than Calvin Pickard and the Golden Knights have a chance, or the season's over. If Akira Schmid goes in, all of a sudden, the other team has the goaltender advantage. And the number one advantage that you have in this series, you throw in the trash. This is wrong. I love the human being of Akira Schmid. I speak to him often. He's a great dude. I think he is an okay AHL goalie at this moment in his career. Can he potentially get better? Maybe. But this season, this year, he was in the bottom 10 in AHL goalies. We've spent months talking about it, days for sure, but every single time it came up, what's it going to look like against the Oilers? It's goalie. They have bad goalies. We have a goalie that can be good. I understand he wasn't good in the second period today. I get it. But there's no chance to win without him. There's no chance. It's not going to happen. They're not going to shut down McDavid and Draisaitl and everyone else along this line. Bouchard and Nurse and apparently Vasily Podkolzin. They're not shutting those guys down with a bottom 10 AHL goalie. So stop. That's not the answer. If you want to start talking about things like this or start looking towards the future, that's all on you. I'll wait for that. Not time for that for me. Back to this hockey game. First, this Periscope and all Periscopes are brought to you by the Jimmerson Law Firm. Jimmerson Law Firm is one of Las Vegas' preeminent law firms specializing in high-stakes business, civil, and family litigation. When winning matters, need 4 out of 5. Winning really matters now. Golden Knights have done this before, so don't forget about that. Seek out the Jimmerson Law Firm. Again, if you're just tuning in now, my voice is a mess. I know. It sounds very whiny. I will admit I am quite whiny tonight. So, whiny voice in general, in addition to fucked up call, not winning the game that I thought absolutely they had to win, all of that. Yeah, it's going to be whiny. So, deal with my whiny. I'm sorry. So the lines get switched apart to give Carlson, Smith, and Howden more opportunity on McDavid. Now, there were a couple of times where he looked to grab Eichel against McDavid. There was one really late in the third period that I thought almost lost the game, where the first shift was different lines. Eichel was out there. I don't remember who they had out there, probably Nugent Hopkins. And then the puck's neutral. Vegas has to make the change first. They send Carlson. Edmonton does not respond with McDavid and Draisaitl. That shift goes begging. Basically, nothing happens. Now they get a shift against, I believe it was Hurdle, and that's that mad scramble right in front of the goal that I thought Perry might have been able to score it, or Draisaitl. Like, that was one where they got caught a little bit. And that's where the fear comes in, is like, all right, for a day, for a game. Yeah, I'll talk about Wah. I'll get there. I'll get to Wah. We'll get there. For a game, the answer to how do we slow down their best two players was Williams, Karlsson, Riley Smith, and Brett Howden. Like, that's good. That's a big part of this series. To be able to have that answer in the home game, do the job that they needed to do, get them to have nothing at 5-on-5 through, what was it, 75 minutes of hockey at home. That helps. You got the last change. To be able to have that and then not win the game because the goalie didn't make a stop on Vasily Podkolzin. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep mentioning Vasily Podkolzin because you can't give up goals to Vasily Podkolzin. It can't happen. It cannot happen. This team's too close. These teams are too close. The Golden Knights are potentially good enough to win the Stanley Cup. Are they a perfect team? No, they are not. No, they aren't. There are issues. However, they are absolutely close enough to win this series. They were absolutely good enough to win this particular game, which means they then have only 2 series to go if they could find a way through this one. Still possible. They're not dead. They are not dead. However, that can't happen. Their fourth line cannot generate 2 goals against your fourth line, especially when moments before Tanner Pearson has the opportunity and he can't finish it. Like, that's not enough. That's not enough. The depth cannot drown. It can't happen. And in many ways, it did for like a small period, but also it didn't because you got to stop that. You need those 2 saves, at least one of them. It has to happen if you're going to win this series. And so now it's like, if you maybe have a better answer, I think the more balanced lineup seems to be better. I don't know what it's going to look like up there, which is terrifying, because now you don't have last change, and now every single time Hurdle or Wah goes over the board, or maybe they don't even have Nick Wah. I don't know. We'll see. Whoever is the other center, that's where they're going to target. So now Karlsson and Smith are going to have to generate offense away from them. They're going to have to push the game forward. They may have to go back to Karlsson playing up because, again, today, I don't think Barbashev had a huge impact. Stone was better offensively. Eichel, I thought, was good, except he didn't want to shoot. And I don't know what that's all about. 0 shot attempts after 2 periods. Like, what's that? That can't be the case. You can't have that. He gets 3 as the game goes on, and I know he shot the one that Karlsson puts in. Those 2 guys, well done. Okay. But, like, you had it. You win the power play battle by 2 goals. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it. I was going to mute myself, and then I realized, I'll just walk over there. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. New Pope. Like, the depth of the lineup is now a huge question as we go up there. You're probably getting less penalty calls. It's just the way it goes. Now, maybe there's enough series left. Last time we got royally fucked out of a call, we didn't have time. The series was over. This time, they actually do have enough time to make it up. So maybe the Golden Knights are definitely have been a better, more disciplined team in that respect. Okay. So that's good. But I don't think you can rely on +2 in power play up there. I think it's unlikely. So you slow down McDavid and Draisaitl. You get power play advantage. Your penalty kill is excellent. You bail yourself out on a 5-minute major in overtime. It's devastating. It's a devastating loss. It's a devastating way to go down. And here's the positive spin that I'll put on it. The one it reminds me most of probably any game, maybe ever. It's crazy that I'm there. I think it was a little more lopsided in this game that I'm about to think of now, and the Golden Knights did not win that game. And I remember coming on the Periscope like, oh, fuck, this is not good. You got to win 4 out of 5. It was Colorado. It's the only time the Golden Knights have ever been down 2-0. Those were 2 games up there, so it's different. It's a lot different. It's a lot different when you don't have a depth advantage, too. I thought they had a depth advantage in that series, too. Well, it was close. It's at least close. But, boy, the end of that game was lost in overtime. I believe on the power play, it was Rantanen. Frustrating, went down 0-2, got blown up in game 1, kind of similar. Lose in overtime in a game that they thought they should have won. So we've been here before. It is different having to go there, but I don't think it's like there were some reasons to have optimism. The shooting was a little better. The challenges in front of the goal were a little better. I'd love to see, can maybe once maybe in this series, can a loose puck in front of the goal end up in the back of the net in front of their goal? Like, we got to get one of those. Like, tips are great. Those types of things are great. That's fine. But, like, we got to find a way to get one of those. All right, Nick Waugh. I don't really have an explanation as to why. Like, I don't fully understand why cross-check is the move there. I know Nick Waugh enough. I've watched enough Nick Waugh, the hockey player. He's not a player that has a mean streak, that takes bad penalties like that. He's not a player out here trying to hurt guys. He's not a player out here that's going to do things that are, like, outside of the game, right? Like, that's not him. However, he does take penalties. He does make mistakes. He does put himself in positions. I just don't understand why cross-check is the play there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me why that's the option. Like, okay, I'll at least give him a little bit of a pass in that he's not expecting to hit the guy in the fucking face, right? Like, he's probably not. It happened. It's a major penalty. I'm not denying that. I don't think he will get supplemental discipline because he got kicked out of this game. And getting kicked out of an overtime is typically like a 1-game suspension. So I don't think he'll get another one, because if he were to miss the next game, that's effectively saying that this is somewhere close to a 3-game suspension, because overtime or playoff games are considered effectively 2-1. That's kind of how they've always done it, supplemental discipline. I don't think that's going to happen. That's beneficial because not having him hurts. They are down centers. Does Cole Schwint have to come in at that point? Maybe. So I don't know. I don't understand why cross-check was the option. Like, hit him in the face, no, okay. But even if he hits him in the chest, it's a bad cross-check. Like, I don't even know what to really call it. I saw somebody say it's selfish. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Like, it's bad. It's just not good, and it hurt. But they killed it. So you walk away. Now, yes, you're down a player. Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I heard some saying he was trying to cross-check in the back or whatever, and then he turns around. Like, I don't know. Just the physical move that it takes to cross-check someone. Like, if anyone has a hockey stick, just grab it, hold it like you're going to hold a hockey stick, and then now make the move to cross-check someone. You actually have to flip your hand over on the stick. So it's a conscious effort to make that move. Now, I know they get away with it from time to time, but in that spot where that is on the ice, down over here, It can't happen. It just can't happen. So that's frustrating. We do not have an update on Braden McNabb. Boy, did it look similar to the Tomas Hertl one. That one, we believe, was a shoulder injury. It was enough to keep him out for a little while, but it would not have been as bad if there were playoff games. I believe he would have probably only missed 2 playoff games, maybe. So maybe we get the same situation. It's potentially a collarbone. It's potentially a separated shoulder. It's potentially a broken arm. It's concerning. This is interesting. I don't know. There's 2 S's in his name, but I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go supplemental discipline. Wouldn't shock me. To me, it doesn't matter. Like Victor Arvidsson being out of the game, it's not going to matter. So, like, don't stay up at night wondering if is he going to get supplemental discipline and gets suspended. Like, it's not going to make a difference. They're going to put in Jeff Skinner or Kasperi Kapanen or whoever. I think they have Kasperi Kapanen. I don't even know. Doesn't matter. Victor Arvidsson's not going to be a difference maker in the series. Apparently, Vasily Podkolzin is, whatever, but that's frustrating. What are the chances Dorofeev plays in Game 3? Better than I would have told you this morning. He stepped on the ice today and was in practice. I don't really understand why he's in a practice and not in a game. Like, I don't really follow that. If we're close enough to be in practice, usually guys play in the playoffs. So that's peculiar to me. It leads me to believe that the standard to get him back in the lineup is he has to be farther along than 70%, 80%, whatever. Pick a number. That if Jack Eichel had been injured and he's healthy enough just to skate with the team in optional morning skate, he's playing. Shea Theodore, William Karlsson, Mark Stone, Aiden Hill, right? For Pavel, maybe not. So I don't know. I don't know where they need him to get to. Obviously, it's pretty clear he is not needed on the top power play unit. I know that's harsh, but he's not. Olofsson will do the job. Olofsson can and will do the job. I do believe Pavel is more dangerous at 5-on-5. So having him would be beneficial. However, I think they potentially still take out Olofsson. So the upgrade is not crazy a lot. Tough to take Olofsson out after 2. But down the lineup, if Olofsson's playing on your 4th line and you struggle against their 4th line, Olofsson's not going to help that at 5-on-5. Pavel's not going to help that at 5-on-5. Does Howden go down there and Olofsson? I don't know. Saad had a decent game, but can't finish. We need finishing. Like, the reason you don't take Pearson out is because 2 of the best chances the Golden Knights had in the entire game were on Tanner Pearson's stick. So I don't know. I don't expect a ton of change. I think the Golden Knights will walk away from this game feeling like they did enough. As I said before, I felt like there are red flags, and I will remain talking about said red flags, which is the Hertl lines not holding the puck in the offensive zone long enough to generate enough. And when they are, the way that it's happening is Hertl's getting it along the wall. He's then working it back out to the point, and then he's not able to get to the front by the time the puck would be arriving, which means the most valuable net front guy, tip guy, isn't there. Now, they do score the goal, so you do get that. However, I think Calvin Pickard was injured at the moment, and I'm not even sure if that's a goal if he's healthy at that moment. So it's like a low point shot. I don't know. Either way, that one he did get in front, but that one I believe someone else worked it out to the point, if I'm not mistaken. Hertl along the boards, it's good. It's nice to have some of that offensive zone time, but you're almost always doing that against lines that aren't as dangerous as Draisaitl and McDavid. So, like, wasting zone time, something that I was big on 2 years ago. I'm not as big on it anymore. You want to push the game forward. You want to be better than them at 5-on-5. And I don't know that they were enough better than them because the finishing was not there. Because when Calvin Pickard's in the goal, and I don't think Calvin Pickard had an excellent game. Do I think he was better than Aiden Hill in this game? I do. But I don't think he had an excellent game. So when that's the case, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, are we generating enough? Are we trying to make extra passes? Are we delivering enough pucks to the goal? Are we winning second chances enough? And the overall sense of it to me is maybe not. Maybe not. And this is in the home game where you get the most out of Carlson against Draisaitl McDavid. They have not split their two guys up yet. They have double shifted them. They have not split them up. For Vegas to win the series, they almost certainly are going to have to force them to split it up. On the road, I don't know how that goes because you can play Eichel and Carlson as much as you want. There's still going to be plenty of opportunity for them to get shifts against the other groups. And there isn't really a defensive pair that I'm like, well, that's the clear one that we want out there. And now I don't know what's going to happen with McNabb because McNabb coming out, that's a left-hand stick. Keep that in mind, which means Hutton would probably be the one. They could go Korzak and now make Haig play the wrong side, which is terrifying in road games because when you play your offside defensively, the challenge is going back on pucks. The challenge is when you have to collect a puck along the boards and they are forechecking you. Haig, not the fleetest of foot, not terrible, but not the fleetest skater we have. Him going back, having to play pucks on his backhand, bit terrifying. In turn, okay, so if it's Hutton, he skates better, he generates a little more offense. He's not reliable defensively in this type series. So that's scary. The fact that that's where we're at is terrifying if McNabb can't play. He's one of the most important players on the team. Like, it's that simple. The guy's an elite penalty killer. The guy's an excellent at gapping up and taking away time and space. He's very good at it. He's very important. He's had an excellent season. If that's how it ends for him, that fucking sucks. Like, that's horrible. What a nightmare. All right. Can they win 4 games out of 5? Which inevitably probably means can they win 2 in a row up there, right? Coming back 3-1. Don't love it. Can they win 2 in a row up there? They absolutely are good enough to beat this team. Like, I'll put it that way. This isn't a 2-0 deficit where you look up and you're like, that team's just better. Like, they play 20 times, that team's going to win 17-18. Like, I don't think it's that. I'm not sure it's 10-10. I'm not. I think this team's a bit flawed. And I think that the team they're playing against can take advantage of some of those flaws. But Calvin Pickard's still their goalie. He's going to remain their goalie. I do not believe that they're going to have a goaltender advantage in any more games. I just don't think it's going to happen. So if you can find a way to get the 3-4 goals, which I do think this team is capable of, especially with their power play operating at 50%, I don't see why they can't find a way to get game 3. I don't even think, like, you don't even have to go ahead. Like, you can come back on this team. You need to have good stretches of hockey. Forecheck was better. I don't think they generated enough offense off the forecheck. So you get the forecheck plays, you get the turnovers. It basically always led to puck going back out to the point. They get to reset it in the middle. They blocked a lot of shots. So a lot of that, like, I'd like to see it more direct. You're going to make this challenge. You're going to make this forecheck. You're going to cause them to turn it over. Let's get to the goal immediately before they reset. Let's take advantage of the lesser goalie in there before they reset. I think more of that can happen in game 3. Sometimes when the Golden Knights go on the road, they do play a little bit more of a simplified game when they go on the road. So maybe forecheck can be a little bit better. Maybe they can do a little bit more in that respect. So that's certainly possible. Can you win them both? I don't know. You're going to have a game better against McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, that's the challenge. Now, you probably aren't going to have a game worse against their fourth line. So that's good. The Kane goal, by the way, what a dipshit. It's 4-2. What's he yapping in front of the Golden Knights bench? I asked Mark Stone about it because Mark Stone has in the past talked about stuff like that, the stick twirl, the dude who hit him in the preseason game, and then he scared the shit out of Brant Clark. Like, Mark Stone has gone down this road before, so I was like, he's the right guy. I asked him if that fired them up or if they saw it or any of that. And he basically just said, that's Evander Kane. That's who he is. And it is. And I do think it fired the Golden Knights up. And I do think it helped them come back. So, stupid from Evander Kane. Nonetheless, the guy gets to the front of the goal. And they've not gotten a lot of Nugent Hopkins. Hyman's got a big goal and done some good things, but I don't know if that line's killing the Golden Knights. The Frederick, Henrique line, they're all right. They're not killing Vegas. It's that fourth line being able to get a couple of chances, and then how it's going to go on the road game up there, it's tricky. It's absolutely tricky. Golden Knights have never been in a 2-0 hole where they lost the first 2 at home. It's the first time they've ever lost the first 2 games at home in a series. We did, of course, see Dallas last year. Vegas won the first 2 games there. And then it turned around and Vegas, Dallas got going and found ways. But that being said, like, that took an overtime that the Golden Knights could have potentially won that one. That took a game 7 where the puck got kicked in off the other team's goal, off Vegas's foot. Like, it took a lot for the Golden Knights to lose that series. And I can make the argument those teams were closer. Vegas was super deep last year. I think I can make the argument those teams are closer. I think Edmonton might be better. Does that mean the Golden Knights can't win 4 in a row? It does not, or 4 out of 5. It does not. Like, they are good enough to win some of these games. They've absolutely, obviously, we now know, they have to get one up there now. Presumably, it probably has to be game 3, too. Like, I felt like they really needed this one. And as that game went on, I really thought they were going to get it. I really did. I felt it in overtime. I don't know. If anybody has questions, go ahead and put them in the chat now. I'll take a few before I get out of here. I have a super long travel day tomorrow. I'm not sure what that's going to look like in regards to getting on here. Try and maybe let my voice rest again so we can do something in game 3 and not keel over like I'm about to when this one's over. We'll try to do something maybe on at some point on before game 3. Maybe I don't know, somewhere. Do you think at some point the moment becomes too big for Pickard? No. I don't think it's the moment. I don't think it's a situation. Like, I think it's a decent team to play behind because if you're a goalie, like, they're going to get 4 often. You can get them up 3 and still probably win. Now, of course, we know it's the first time the Golden Knights have lost when scoring 3 goals in 42. I can't believe this is the one that breaks it, but I don't know. I thought for sure they had it right at the beginning of that overtime. And like, yeah, all right, so the Wah penalty killed the momentum, but then, yeah, like Nate said, right behind it, like once you kill the penalty, you get that momentum back. Like, I think the can opener and McNabb going immediately down the tunnel, that killed the momentum. That fucked them. Like, that's a problem. How does the power play look for the rest of the series? I think good. I think it's going to be good. They got to figure out entries. I don't know why entries have become more and more of a problem. Like, there's a problem against Minnesota. It's been a problem here. That first power play today was an entry nightmare. But once they've been in the zone, like, they're doing the same shit. The puck's getting down to Stone, and they're laying on the ground. If he could just delay and either get it back to Eichel and zip it across, or just wait out that sliding guy and get it into the center, like, the options are there. The power play's good. The power play's legitimately very, very good. Like, we may never have a power play this good again. Like, it's that good. Sucks that if it ends up being that it's not enough. They're up 4-0 in power play in this series so far, right? No, it's 3-0. So I think 95 can be better than 16 on the power play. Yeah. Do you think Hurdle's been much of a difference in these playoffs? I could use more. I could definitely use more. I thought at the beginning of the first series he was pretty good. He was basically the only guy doing much at 5-on-5 in the first 3 games of the Minnesota series. Kind of went cold a little bit there in the middle. I guess it depends on what your expectation is of Tomas Hertl. When you look at the Golden Knights roster and you list the names on the page, the place where they're very good is down the middle. And it's like, all right, well, with Eichel, Karlsson, and Hertl, that's going to be good. But like, when Karlsson's in a role where basically he can't generate offense, because we know they're not going to get a ton unless he gets shifts with Eichel, which that's different. Like, you want more. You would like more out of Hertl. Has he been bad? No. Can he do a lot more? Yeah, I think he can. We're going to pass on this one for now. That'll be a topic if we get out of there and don't win this series. If Waugh gets a suspension, I guess it's Schwint unless Pavel's available. If Pavel's available, he goes. It's probably Schwint as the center. Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably the better option than Jonas. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your oh shit meter at? Like a 9. Like a 9. You lose the first 2 games at home, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You're not dead. Like, the numbers say 1 in 5 teams come back from this spot. We watched it happen last year. The Golden Knights have done it, down 2. Not losing 2 at home, I get it, but they have been down 2 and come back, and that's even higher. When the home team wins the first 2, it's like 85%. It's actually because the home team is usually considered the better team. When the away team wins the first 2 games, it actually is less probable that they win. It's a weird number, but it's like a 1 in 5 chance. That's about where I'm at. They've got like a 20% chance. That's not good. It's not where you want to be. That means the cup chance is like 4. Like, that's a lot worse than what it would have been if they won today. If they win today, they're probably 50% chance, 55% chance to win this. Do I think this is the best Golden Knights team to date? No. No, not at all. No. I think the cup team's way better. Last year's team never quite figured it out, but I think that team was better. I believe the 2019 team was better. And I would probably argue the 2018 team was better. So it's barely even top 5. Now, give me time. They rescue this thing. They win 4 out of the next 5 against this Oiler team, who I actually think is worse than last year's Oiler team and worse than the Oiler team that the Golden Knights played and beat in the playoffs 2 years ago. So, but still, they're good. They still have McDavid and Draisaitl. If they turn this around, yeah, I'm going to start feeling like they're better than the team that got fucked in Game 7 in year 2. the team that got beat up a little bit in the Stanley Cup final of year one, the team that lost in 7 games, like to last year. But right now, no. And I think you see it with the challenge of the wingers. Like, I think you see it there. You see that, like, there's a reliance on, like, Brendan Saad and Tanner Pearson and Keegan Kolazar and Brett Howden to score goals. And they have done some of it better in the regular season than we would have ever imagined, right? Like, a lot better in the regular season. But now, here we are, and it's like, it's got to come from the power play. It's got to come from Eichel and Karlsson together. It's got to come from Stone doing something, and probably with Eichel. Like, a lot of this, you're not getting the contribution from wingers the same way you had gotten in the past, the same way that they turned around a lot of those games in that Edmonton series. They got hot and got things done. Like, that's where I think the focus is going to be if we fall down the rest of the series. We switch to easy clears out of game instead of controlled exits. Yeah, I think that's something that, like, you do need controlled exits to generate offense against this team. One of the best ways to generate offense against this team is to get going offensively, like, with that transition, to get the puck out of your zone, carry it through the neutral zone, and get after them before they get settled. They're not great. They're not great at sorting that out. So you want controlled entries. But the decision that was made in this game, and I think it's the right one, was let's worry about exiting first. Let's limit their forecheck first. Then let's start looking for the controlled exits. And it was better. It was definitely better. The first period, I do think, and I will watch the game again tomorrow. I do have enough time, certainly, to watch the game again. I do believe that first period was not as great as what I think most people will walk away thinking it was. They did generate offense, but they did not generate a shit ton of offense. It was the second period they actually generated a lot more offense and then gave up 2 shitty goals. And that's killer. Am I afraid we lose McNabb for the rest of the run? That dude's a warrior. That dude had broken ribs the entire run through the 2023 Cup. And he plays that, like, it's going to take a shit ton to keep that guy out of the game. Maybe game 3 is probably a pretty low probability that he plays, but I would be surprised if he doesn't play again. If he doesn't, that's horrible. Like, what a terrible way for that to go down. What a terrible way for, I think, the best season he's had in his career. The guy's been awesome. The guy has been absolutely awesome. And to go down on a bullshit can opener, that sucks. Like, that's frustrating. I think that's probably the best way to end this thing tonight. Thanks again to the Jimmerson Law Firm for sponsoring all Periscopes this season. Thanks to Vegas Night and Day for sending me on the road. I'm on my flights at 7:15 to LAX, then to Vancouver, then to Edmonton. Fingers crossed the weather's good and I make all these connections. Vegas Night and Day Heating and Travel, thank you so much for sending me. We'll be up there for that one. It's just a game that every negative emotion you want to have about a hockey game, you can have it tonight. You could be frustrated that the right result didn't come out because it was there and it was possible. You could be frustrated that they did many of the things that you have to do against Edmonton and it still wasn't enough. You can be frustrated that Nick Waugh made a bad decision and put his team in a terrible position. You could be angry or annoyed or whatever at the referees for not calling that penalty. And there's no reason you can't be. But in the end, like, McDavid did his thing, and they just didn't finish. They just didn't finish. You've got to finish one of those. You've got to bear down on one of those. And it just didn't happen. So, got to win 4 out of 5. Got to win 4 out of 5. You're good enough to win games against this team. We know that. We know the Golden Knights are good enough to win games against this team. We know that. We know they're good enough to get leads. We know they're good enough to come back. We know that the goalie should be better than their goalie. That's what has to start coming through. Game 3's up there. Last change is theirs. It's going to be tricky. But it takes 4. It takes 4. I know 2 games in a row sucks when you lose them both at home ice, but it takes 4. This team's not dead. This team does not roll over. They are not going to roll over. They're going to give it everything they've got. They're going to fight for every inch of ice they can. This team still is a bundle of champions that believe that they can still be champions again. They're not going to quit. Hang in there with them. Like, it's an uphill climb. It's a lot. It's a lot to do from here. But hey, the odds say it's like 20%. The odds say it's there. I've played hard 8s in my life. I've played hard 10s in my life. It's 20%. Actually, I think those are less. Like, it's possible. It is possible. It can happen. They can do it. Would I predict that they will? Probably not. But they can. They can. That's it. Good night.